Well, hey, good morning, and good morning. It is one of those kind of days. I'm so excited because it's the birthday week, not just America's, Moa's. And I was sitting here thinking about it when I grabbed this flag. How when I was a little kid, I don't know how my mom dealt with it. My lips look dry. Hmm. This is just like when you're in your phone, you use it like a mirror. Yeah, I don't know how my mom dealt with it. That week, that was my birth. I started celebrating exactly 1 week before. I demanded to always wear red, white, and blue every day, all the way down to my underoos. And I don't know. I was like, I think 9 or 10 years old when I realized when they finally broke it to me that the 4th of July was not just everybody in the United States celebrating my birthday, that it was really our country. I don't know what I was listening to in school when they were teaching us about it. In one ear and out the other. That's the bell of purpose. I'm Loren Michaels Harris, and you have found your way into today, Up Day, Wednesday's episode of Bathrobe Moments. And this is the bell of purpose, which means when you hear it ring, that something good happened. And we're saying, hey, let's get behind it. Hey, so I'm so glad you're here today. It's July 1st. Can you believe it? July 1st. And here we are. God, thank you so much. We're safe. Hopefully, most of us are healthy. And we are at the midway point of the year. Can you believe that? It'll be 2021 in a flash, right? So, anyway, it's July 1st. So, we have a new sponsor this month. It is Nikki's Naperville. One of Brian and I, it's our favorite place. They're like family to us down there. Dean, the son, and the father, who's in Greece right now. He got over there to visit his father. The grandmother passed away. And when he went to take care of that, COVID happened and he got stuck. And he's been there ever since. There's no travel in and out. Greece ain't playing with it. So anyway, Nikki's, yes, a great place for lunch if you're in the Naperville area. Lunch, dinner, they deliver. Get down there and check them out. The ribs are absolutely the best. You're going to see those ribs in a commercial during our break today. So Nikki's of Naperville. Oh, wait a minute. I almost forgot. We got to break you in today in true fashion. Wait a minute. Uh, is that it? There it is. Nikki's of Naperville. Yay. So anyway, we still love Symposium. Ooh, I'm just kidding. Anyway, I'm so excited about today's guest. You know how you meet people, sometimes you meet people and you go, kind of look at them like, there's something about you. That's how it was when I met my guest today, Demond K. Ross. He is a coach, a speaker, a teacher, an educator, a father, and just an all-around great guy. Everybody loves Demond. You will too. We're going to get him in here so he can tell you what's going on in his life. Now, I'm trying to think. Knowing him, he probably rode a bike today because yep, there he is.
Loren, good morning.
Okay, I see. I wanted to see if he's kind of shy sometimes, you guys. So I thought I would let him. Now I can put my robe on him. No people are like, what's going on with the off the shoulder look today? Well, it's because I love this shirt. Brian and I got. Oh, everything's backwards, like being in a mirror. Brian and we went to this little shop in San Diego when I was speaking there, and it was the whole place is nothing but motivational stuff, shirts, hats, bags. And I saw this and I love it because it's always been my motto: see it, believe it, be it. And you're great proof. Is why I have this, and I can put this on. Why I have this on today, because this is what I think of when I think of you. You see it, you believe it, and now you are going to be it, or you are it. So, welcome to the show. How has life been since you were here before?
Yeah, it was I think 2 months ago.
2 months ago, and a lot has happened.
Yeah, lots going on. I've done a lot of work with you, and I got my first article published in the Global Achievers magazine. So very proud of that and excited. Yeah, and getting a lot of support, and just been a really fun, exciting time right now.
Awesome. We're going to talk about that article before we get out of here today and your debut in an international magazine. So happy for that. Now, did you go wake up my favorite person in the world?
No, I didn't wake him up.
Oh, you're going to wait till afterwards?
Yeah.
Damon has a son. How old is he? Tell everybody. He's how old and what's his name?
My son's 10 years old. His name is John, and he is just an amazing kid. I know every parent says that about their kid, but he truly is amazing.
He truly is. He was at the Power of We Symposium, the inaugural one we had here in Chicago, and I just fell in love with him. When I tell Damon this, and I know you don't think, either you think it's creepy or you think I'm lying, but it's the truth. I have had days where I was just like, oh, and I'll go on my pictures on my phone, and the way he was in the camera, he reminds. I know this sounds kind of narcissistic, but he really reminds me of me, but just a quieter, subdued version. You know what I mean? But he's the kind of kid where you just go, well, aren't you something? And he is just, I just love him to death. He is a great kid. I get to say hi to him this morning. So Damon, when we first met, you had a show.
Yes.
Tell us about that. And I think you might consider bringing him back. But that's how we met. You actually came here to the house and interviewed me. I was so impressed. And we've been fast friends ever since. So talk about that and talk about this journey. What happened? Because I think it's great for people to share the journey. How it's sometimes it's back, then forward, 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yeah.
But it all plays into the master plan. So talk about that. How have things changed over the years since we met?
Well, as far as the show goes, so I have 2 really good friends. One is the mentor, Tim Stewart and Kent Jones. They had a show called Two Ball Guys and a Microphone. And so I used to go in from time to time when they were in studio and be on the show. And then
they still have that show?
No, they're not doing the show anymore.
I wondered because I had my notifications. I used to see it. It would tell me every day. What happened to that?
Well, a couple of things. So one is Tim Stewart. He loves helping people. Like I said, he's a mentor of mine, and his life is about being on stage. That's how he connects with audience. And it was hard for him to. He was great on the show, but for him, he didn't feel the connection because he likes to see the faces and really connect with people on that level. And being on radio, he didn't feel that connection with the audience. So he stepped back, and then Rancher Ron and Kent continued on with the show. And unfortunately, Rancher Ron became ill, and he's since passed away.
What?
So the show, yeah. So we lost Rancher Ron a few months ago.
I had no idea. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah. So that show ceased, but their station is still going. 216 The Net. So you can still go to 216thenet.com. Check out the shows that they have on there. They have new lineups and different things going on. So the show, the station is still going, but the show ceased. But as far as my connection with that, I used to show up from time to time. And when they decided to expand a little bit and change up the show a little bit, they gave me a call one day. The 3 of them, they were talking together, and they said, well, Damon, you know what? Our listeners really like when you're on the show. They really comment about you. So we want you to become a regular. So I was like, great, fantastic. So I would call in on my way to work in the morning on Monday mornings, talk to the guys, and I would have my little segment where I would talk about whatever the topic was. I would give my perspective on it because we all have a little bit different perspective on things.
Right.
And I went with that. And then when they decided to start the station, Tim was telling me, and he said, we were talking, we really think that you should have your own show. And at first I was, like, I'm not sure. I'm just kind of okay being the guy that just supports you guys and
the wingman
chimes in. Yeah. And I consider myself to be a Batman. Robin, and I'm okay with that. I'm good at that. But I said, let's do this. So I started my show. It's called the Always Believe in You Show. And what it was geared towards is helping teachers, educators, youth workers work with and give messages to their students. So it was a twofold show. So on one half of the show, I would really be speaking to those educators, to those caring adults, and giving them some motivation and some different things to think about, tactics on how to connect with their students and just keep them motivated. And then I would always have a highlighted section where I would find some story of some youth that did something amazing, whether it was in the past or something going on currently. We would talk about that. And then I was interviewing people from different professions. And the idea of the show was for these teachers and these caring adults that work in youth groups and whatnot, to be able to share that information with the students so they get an idea of what all is out there, because there's multiple jobs, there's multiple careers. You know, we get so focused on what's on television and what is put in our face as this is the epitome of success, but success comes in all different forms, and there are many different avenues for people to take. And so that was the purpose of me interviewing these various people, to find out about their industry, about their job, how they got there, what it takes, what were some of the pitfalls, what were some of the things that they didn't like. So that's what I was doing. And what got difficult is, because the show had to be on the radio, it had to be formatted in a certain length. And so it was just very exhausting going back and editing the show, because then I have to figure out, okay, what sections can I cut out? I'm like, man, that's important too. And I had to do it all. I did everything.
The editing. Okay, now, what is that? Do you have earbuds?
No.
You don't have headphones?
No.
It's getting me. I'm getting like a feedback when I speak. Now it stopped.
Okay, I'm not sure.
That was weird. It was like you didn't hear it?
No, I didn't.
I wonder if you guys heard it out there. Put some hearts on the screen if you did. Anyway, well, that's because we're live. Things like this happen. Oh, here's my plug. We are streaming live as always on YouTube, Roku. I say that wrong all the time. Roku, tomato, potato, patata. Wait, no one says that. Okay. Anyway, Roku. I have to picture that. That's what my mnemonic device. Android, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and of course our home base. Hi guys, out in Phoenix, Arizona, E360 TV Live. So listen. Okay, so that's what happened, and many times people don't realize how much goes into some of these shows. Now that was more like, would you consider that what you were doing, a podcast?
It was a radio show / podcast, because it was actually on a radio station, but I also took the full length of the interviews and I put that out as a podcast.
Okay, but you had cameras where people could see the person.
Yeah, I did film it. I didn't get them ever put up on YouTube, because that was a part of the massiveness. Like, man, how can I get all of this done?
Okay, now I get it. And I'm panicked because my backup coffee is sitting a few feet away in the kitchen. So at some point, I'm going to let you talk so I can get up and go get it. But anyway, let's talk about your work. I find the work you do every day pretty fascinating with the kids. Tell us about that and how you got into that, and what makes it so special for you, because you're definitely cut from the cloth, designed to do that kind of work. That's for sure. So tell us about that.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I tell my story about how I got involved with working with kids quite a bit. And my journey actually started when I was in second grade. I know, like, that makes sense. You were a kid at the time. How does that happen? Well, my mom was an educator. She was a teacher for a very long time. She transitioned into the library, but she's always worked for the St. Louis Public School District. And so when I was in second grade, my mom, because she worked in the city and we lived out in the suburbs, we were on different schedules for school. So whenever we had time off, my mom's school would be in. And so she would ask my brother and I if we wanted to go to school, my brother Rob. She would ask us if we wanted to go into school with her. And usually I would. Sometimes my brother would go, but I would always go. And I just fell in love, even though they were kindergartners, so they were only 2 years younger than me, but I still just enjoyed that whole process. Sure. And the idea of helping and working, with younger people. And so I went through that and did that. And as I got older, it was just a thing that I fell in love with. And so when I got into middle school, I would go to the basketball camps at my high school. The high school I eventually ended up going to, High School North. And when I got to 8th grade, going into high school, just as big of a passion for me to want to be a part of the basketball program and the tradition of Lutheran North, I couldn't wait to work at the camp so I could work with younger people and help educate them and teach them the game of basketball. And so it's just always been there for me. It's just something that I've always loved. And so the way I ended up at the school, so a few years ago, I did something crazy that, a lot of people do when you're pursuing something. I quit my job where I was working at a company, and I decided to pursue the speaking and everything full time. looking back, not the greatest idea, but I'm still proud of myself for taking that leap and still continuing to push on through that. But at the time, I had a little bit of money where I could buffer myself for about a year. Well, that year came to an end, and there was a lot of ups and downs, a lot of bumps along that way. So things never quite took off the way I anticipated. So I needed a job, and so I went to the school where I work now because my best friend works there, and he's been there for years. And so I was very familiar with the school. I had times throughout my years of working where I would actually volunteer. Like I would take a day off of work every week. I would work 10-hour days so I can get a day off during the week to go to the school and volunteer. So they knew me, the principal knew me. So I went, it's like, hey, I need a job. He knew the story. He knew what was going on. He welcomed me in. And, in a very short time, I moved up the ranks. I started as a TA in the classroom where our main job as TAs is to help the teachers. So we help the students with behavior management and with their schoolwork and whatnot. And our dean of students recognized me in those moments working with students that were struggling because it is a therapeutic day school that I work with.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Therapeutic day school. So they are hearing that sound. Robert says it sounds like at first someone's clearing their throat. But that last one sounded like video game gunfire. I don't know what it is. It starts backing.
I don't know. Maybe it's this fan because it's really hot. Let me turn the fan off and see if that helps. Okay.
How's everybody doing? Hi, JB. Hello, Tuber. How are you? Out in hot Phoenix. Is it hitting the hundreds yet? Therapeutic day school. So this is mainly for kids that have some type of emotional or behavioral issue, right? So they're great kids that have a challenge. Now, I always say to people with my work with kids, because you've been there, you've been to the Power We Symposium and that sort of thing, and it just tickles me to death when they point to a certain kid and they say, oh, he's special needs or she's special needs. Well, first of all, I believe all kids are special, and I believe all kids have needs. So doesn't that cover it? But the kids that you work with, they just need a little extra something, a little extra love, a little extra healing. And talk about are all of these situations with these kids, they're not all things that require medication. Some of it requires just the right kind of a tone in your voice or a hug or support or a supportive look even. Talk about that. And that, because I believe people that do what you do have a calling. It takes a special kind of person to work with these special.
Yeah, so like you said, we have students with varying ranges of social and emotional disorders. We do have students that require medication, but most of the students that we work with, it really boils down to a self-esteem, self-image, issue.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at most social emotional disorders, and a lot of that stems from some form of trauma that they've gone through. Mm-hmm. Some, whether it's being abandoned, some from abuse, neglect, a large range of these situations.
And the age group, the kids there are from what grade to what grade?
So our entire school, the building that I'm in, North Shore Academy, is 5th through 12th grade. Oh. So on one floor, we have the middle school, 5th through 8th grade, and then on the other floor is the 9th through 12th grade. We also have an elementary school in another location for K through 4.
Hey, I have a question.
Yes.
I don't know what that thing is. That sound. I wish you had earbuds. Next time I have some handy. Usually if you what?
I'll see if they'll connect.
Oh, you got Bluetooth?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll give it a try. It's worth it. My question is, I'll get it out there. And if any of you, I kind of had ADHD, it's now we know, but back then they just said I had what did they say? That I was always like a kid that was like running all over the place. Today we know it as ADHD, and I am on medication for that today. Now, have you ever seen siblings in that school? 2 kids or 3 kids from the same family in that school?
Yeah, in the time that I've been there, we had recently we've had a group of or a pair of brothers that were there at the same time. They both exhibited the same behaviors, but a lot of their stuff stemmed from the trauma. Their parents had been going through a divorce for years and continue to just Go at it. No, not yet.
Do that because this feedback is just horrible.
Okay,
it's like a monster screaming in my ear.
I'll apologize for that.
That's okay. And Robert, that really was someone clearing their throat just now. That was me. So I'm just letting you know. That's the difference. We're here, you guys, while he's trying to figure out our technical difficulties. Nothing but a speed bump. No big deal. We'll make it work either way. I want to say welcome to you all who have come in since the top of the broadcast. You're in the middle of the Wednesday episode, Hump Days episode, July 1st, too. Bathrobe Moments. My guest today is Demond K. Ross. And he's talking about his work with special kids today, special needs kids. And okay, he's muted himself so he can go do something. I am so excited that it's the first of the month. It's July. What are your plans? Oh, I know what we can talk about while we're waiting. Are you guys having like family get-togethers and stuff? How's that going to work? We're still debating. The jury's still out, even though we're in phase 4 here in the Chicagoland area. Which allows us, I think it's small groups of, I think 10 or less, I'm pretty sure. But we're still a little worried, personally, inside our home about, whether we should go and do something with all of our family in Michigan or not. So what are you guys doing? How are you processing this? Are you going to just kind of stick to yourself with your immediate family? Are you going to go and do the big family get together, but then social distance? How are you going to play it this 4th of July? I'm really interested in knowing because, I miss my family, like we all do, but I'm just a little concerned about them opening up things a little bit too soon. And we're already seeing that some states are reversing those decisions. It wasn't the right decision. So what are you guys thinking of doing on the 4th of July weekend coming up? Hi, Brenda. Brenda, you have a large family. Are you guys getting together on the 4th of July? What are your plans? Or is everybody still scared? Because Brian and I are terrified. Not terrified, but we're erring on the side of caution. Let's put it that way. Because you don't know where people have been. That's the thing. Why go to all this trouble to do the right things all this time and then go sit across from somebody who hasn't done it at all? Robert, you're so crazy. I waited to see if I could look on here. I'm waiting to see if anybody has this. What are you guys going to do? Somebody speak up. What are you going to do on the 4th of July? I'm really interested in finding out. I see a shadow. I see him peeking in the corner. See him? He's trying to get his headset together. Oh, El Maestro's here. El Maestro, you come from a big family. Are you guys getting together on the 4th of July weekend, or are you kind of keeping it sequestered, everybody in their own corner? How's that going to work? I need to know so I can feel like I'm trying to make an informed decision this 4th of July. Oh, Brenda, I know that's right. Don't even say that word. I'm going to have to, can we file? That's another question. Can we file for an extension? Brian had his done 2 days after the like January 3rd. And I am still working on starting mine. Brenda, I remember last year when you were working on Texas, a long time, just like this. Oh Lord, we're waiting on our guest to try to get a. There he is. Try to get. He said no. He's shaking his head. You can unmute or not. You don't know how to unmute. Okay, there you go. I still don't hear you. Oh, there.
You don't hear me?
I do now.
Yeah, I was getting some bad feedback on my end trying to, because I have these headsets.
Maybe the volume. Can you just turn your volume down a little? Maybe that'll help us. I'm still trying to get people. Okay, Brenda, thank you, because I know you're good. Oh yeah, Brenda, you used to work for the government. Hook me up, girl. I need another month or something. Here they are due in September. Whatever, Robert. How nice for you that your taxes were filed months ago. I haven't even looked. I haven't started. I haven't written down one number for my taxes yet. So if you guys see an empty chair here and you wonder what happened, they probably hauled me off to debtor's prison. Hopefully not. Okay, El Maestro says that they are getting together and they're meeting at Starved Rock State Park. That sounds fun. Okay, so an outdoor event. So you guys feel like, hey, let me ask you, Jamal, what are you guys doing for the 4th of July? Are you staying to yourselves? Or are you guys, is your family getting together and just 6 feet away? How are you guys playing it this year? This is really the first big, I mean, Memorial Day, but this is the one where families have get-togethers and reunions and all of that. Um, how are you guys doing it?
Well, all of my family's in St. Louis, so I won't see them at all. So it'll just be my son and I will, be here and just do what we do on a normal Saturday.
Do what you do. Hi, honey. I don't know. Okay, okay. Well, it's my birthday. It can never be a normal Saturday. Yeah, I'm just saying. Well, are you going to go to fireworks?
I don't know if they're having them. I have to check. But the where I live is really perfect. I just got to go out down the sidewalk 10 paces and I got a clear shot because they're done right behind the lake and across from me.
Well, I bought some from Target. You know, those aren't real. I got to go over to Indiana and get that real stuff to see. But I'll only do that if we're someplace safe. There's too many trees in this neighborhood. So let me get back to what to this interview with you. And what I want to talk about now. Oh, bye. I loaded the car already, honey. Have a good day.
Is my sound better?
What?
Is the sound better?
Let's see. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not happening right now, but then it stopped before and started again. So let's see. Let's see.
Okay.
So listen, let's talk about this. What is it that what do you reach for, Damon? Because there are people out there who have started, and I know JB fellow tuber is trying to break in, segue out of law enforcement into doing what we do. Excuse me. And so, but there have been no stumbles, not really stumbles, maybe speed bumps, things that you hope will work a certain way and they don't. We all experience them. I want to ask you this. So do you feel that you were the person who quit the job to do this thing at the school, you walked away from the other thing? How do you feel as far as influencing? A lot of people will always run a regular job parallel, like you're doing right now, and then hopefully one day be able to stop the regular job or the 9 to 5er and start doing what they really want to do, which is impact and influence people from various stages, meaning whether it's a show, live stages, staging events, so on and so forth. But then things happen, like with the show. Now, you invested in a lot of equipment. Where is that equipment now? And do you plan on picking it up again? I'm trying to get to the thing about that. I don't believe that there are mistakes, that we make mistakes. I believe that we have we have speed bumps. I believe that we have little stumbles, but I believe that everything that we go through is it is creating our destiny. It is our destiny in the process of becoming. So it's not a mistake. Einstein said that the thousands of times that he was wrong about E=mc², the theory of relativity, he never once looked at one of those as a failure. He looked at it as I'm one formula closer to the truth.
To the solution, right?
To the solution, exactly. So talk about that. How did it feel when you packed away your equipment? How did it feel? How did you make yourself process what happened and not chalk it up as a failure? Or did you? Or did you?
I didn't chalk it up as a failure because I didn't stop doing it because of the results.
Okay.
So that's why I don't chalk it up as a failure. And like you said, it's not dead to the point where I can't pick it up and do it again. And it's something that you and I have talked about if I were to relaunch, would I relaunch the same way? Will I do it a different way? And so those are things that I'm processing now and thinking about, because you're right, I invested, money in equipment, microphones, stands, all of these.
You have cameras and everything.
Well, the phones. I just had my phone.
Oh, that's right. You had them on. You had a laptop that you were. You had me impressed. I was like, I ran upstairs and put on some makeup. I'm just kidding. Listen, when we come back, I want to get more into what we just touched on about how when things change, how we keep getting back up, how do we keep moving forward, and what does it take to reassess, reevaluate, and create a whole new plan for how you still plan on impacting the world. So we're going to talk about that when we get back. I don't want you guys to go anywhere. Now would be a great time, you guys, to call somebody, hit the share button, just to let somebody know that we're having some fun over here on the front porch of Bathrobe Moments. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back with DeMont K. Ross. When you were here last time, we talked about that K. You didn't want to talk about it.
No.
Okay, so
but we talked. But you and I did talk about it later.
Yes, we did. So I'm just saying, nobody asked what the K is about. And no, it is not Karen. I'm just saying because that's how I tried to figure it out of you. So anyway, let's talk about before we went to break, I was asking you what it felt like when because you had a big setup, you were traveling all over, you came here, and now you've done some other things. You have this. You went and you really took a dive into some big time coaching to become a certified coach. Talk about that. What and how do you feel? How did you choose the right kind of coach to become?
Well, as far as the coaching, again, it just goes into everything about me wanting to help other people. And the main thing is I know very well what it feels like to have limiting belief and to be fearful of going after the thing you want fully. Now, it's one thing to stick your toe in the water, feel it, pull it back out, stick your toe in the water, pull it back out, and to continue to go through this process over and over again. Well, I wanted, as I'm progressing through that loop, I want to help other people because I know what it feels like. I want to help relieve other people from that loop. And so I got connected with the Augmandino Institute, and they have a program called Habit Finder. And so what the Habit Finder does is it measures your habits of thinking. And what made me really fall in love with that, because there are a lot of profiles out there that do very great and wonderful things. And they tell you about your personality and the things you do and how you feel about certain things and your reactions to certain things. What Habit Finder does is it takes you a step deeper and gets you right to the heart of your thinking, because it is our thinking that leads our action and our habits. And so what Habit Finder does is we help people identify certain habits of thinking that are supporting them, as well as those that are sabotaging them, and help people adjust those where needed to change those sabotaging habits of thinking into supporting habits of thinking.
So basically, you're putting certain things that are of negative nature on mute, and then turning up the volume on those things that you probably take for granted because they come natural and you're doing them right. So they don't stand out as anything other than, well, isn't that just what you do?
It's just me. Yeah.
I get it. So since you've been doing this, what is the one thing you find when you're talking to people is their number one pushback about change? What is the number one reasoning, or basically call a spade excuse that you're hearing about people saying, well, it sounds good, but right now I just can't afford it, or right now, what are you hearing? Because I know what I hear. I want to hear what you hear.
Yeah, generally it boils down to I can't afford it, and it's one of those things where so for a lot of people you can't afford not to do it.
Mm.
But we're so conditioned to looking at things of what it's going to cost, meaning the upfront, and we don't look at the long term. How much is it going to cost me in the long run? One of the examples that I hear people, coaches from all different ranges, talk about, particularly like, let's just say, for example, somebody who's having trouble in their marriage and they need help with that, and they say, "Oh well, I can't afford to pay for this coaching that I'm going to need to help me with this situation." Because they're not thinking of how much it's going to cost if you end up going through that divorce and you don't reconcile and fix your relationship. So it's just having that mindset and looking at the value, because there's a difference between value and cost. So a lot of people look at cost, the immediate outgo, but they don't look at the value, the long-term effect that
That's a
change
great
will
point.
have.
That's a great point. And I also want to throw this in because we're guilty of it. Brian and I both, right here in this house. You know, we'll buy things that, for instance, right now we have one of those big blue balls that you're supposed to like, do your sit-ups on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because we're dealing with the COVID-20 right now, the 20 pounds that COVID helped us get, Um, and we also have a bag of stretchy things that you put your foot down and you do this. That came in the mail through Amazon the other day, and they're both are just as fresh and new as the day they came off the assembly line. And we spend the money. So my point is, we'll spend the money on things that we don't use, but in our mind we have great intentions. But you know what they say: the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So I look at that and I go, that's just like people who buy my coaching or they buy my digital training program and they never even open the welcome module. They have good intentions, but then they just don't have what it takes, which is I refer to as 5 pounds of pressure, because it takes 5 pounds of pressure to pull the trigger on the starter gun. And they're off. And so what do you suggest to people to help them find that 5 pounds of pressure that they need to actually get started? Because I know from my days in wellness and transforming my body and the bodies of others, I always look at the 30-day. If I could get people to do something every day consistently for 30 days, they could see results. Now, I think we all knew when we all start seeing the needle move in the direction we want to go, it changes everything. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And with a lot of people, like you said, getting started for some people is the hard part, or continuing to go. And it can't be a thing of just making or having an intention. You have to be very clear about what it is you want. So I think for coaches, helping people really identify their pain points, but not stopping there, helping them to envision and think about what will it be like if we can get rid of that pain. And you get people in that, and so their minds is thinking on, okay, this is what my life could be if I do this. So you help with that, and that's a start. And then the other thing that a lot of people struggle with is just getting things done. So real simple thing to help people that have trouble with this is to set up a system of which you find something that you want to do, something you want to work on, or if you're just having trouble, like I just have trouble sustaining focus or concentration with a thing, pick something very small. And I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's you've got a table in your kitchen that has been a mess for a while, or a room, or whatever. You don't like to read. Pick something. Pick a time every day where that time is dedicated to that. And for 10 minutes, not 20, not a half hour, not an hour, 10 minutes. Grab your phone, because we all have them. Put 10-minute timer on there, and your goal is to do that activity for 10 minutes. Not to complete a masterpiece, not to create a thing of perfection, not to finish cleaning the room, just to be in that sustained activity for 10 minutes. Do that every day, and as you continue to do that, you'll build up the muscle to concentrate and to be able to do more and more work to get those goals.
Be more productive.
Yes.
I want to ask you something now, because I thank goodness. I mean, yeah, you're coaching people. And I always believe, because I was told this from day one, a good coach will always have a coach. And that's the case with all of us. I have one, you have one. Some people have two. Now, you just recently had your first article published in a magazine, and that was that. How did that make you feel? And does it help you believe or have more mental investment inside of what you're doing? How does it make you feel? Was it, I mean, did it change the game for you at all? Is what I'm getting at. Uh, um, Putting something on your resume that was never there before. How does this make you feel? Because I see a lot of action on Facebook about it the last few days, and I was curious. Talk about that for a minute, because I believe it's important that we take our victories and celebrate them, no matter how large or small they may seem. And when you have something to celebrate, I believe it can be a game changer. What say you?
Yeah, I absolutely believe that. I'm glad you said that, because that is one of the things that, when I talked about that 10-minute process, is getting those little victories, and it helps us to see that we're going in the right direction and that we have progress. And you're right, it does. Like, I was super shocked when I saw all of the comments and everything that people were doing. I didn't expect it, because it is a big deal, but you just don't know how it impacts other people and what other people see. So it does make me feel a little bit different, and it shows that because my trajectory has been slow, and that's all due to me. Like, there's no finger pointing. There's nobody else out there that has slowed my progress down more than myself, more than me. As I said, sticking my toe in the water, pulling it out, you know, getting a little bit of traction, something happens, and I go, okay, well, maybe I'm not supposed to do this. So to have something like that happen, it does a huge thing for my confidence. And I did have to sit and say, like, man, this is something to be proud of and celebrate. Because what a lot of people do is, when things like that happen, is they go, oh, well, I got lucky, or that kind of happened, but I don't want to celebrate. Or they say, well, I don't want to get myself too up, because I know the letdown is around the corner.
Right.
We need that dopamine drop, that drip from those successes. And so, yeah, dude, it was amazing. I was on a mastermind call yesterday, and one of the guys who's mentoring me in that group brought it up, and everybody just congratulating me and saying, way to go. It's amazing. So yeah, it's definitely helped with my confidence and
So
helped me. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. So what do people do when they have that momentary victory? Because every day that we get past it, it starts moving. It's it dims, the light on it dims a little bit, it dims a little bit. So how do you plan on leveraging all of this dopamine drip and this feeling of yes, an accomplishment? How do you leverage it before it becomes a distant? Oh, there it goes down the road. I can barely see it. What are your plans? So, I mean, do you write another article and submit it somewhere else in hopes of getting picked up? Or, excuse me, how are you gonna leverage it?
Well, yeah, I will be writing more articles, because I love sharing and helping other people. I know, working with you, working towards doing a webinar. So that's another thing. But the whole idea is to keep that next goal in mind. Because a lot of times what happens is, when we hit our goals, we feel like, yes, I've made it. And then, instead of pressing the gas a little bit more to get to the ultimate goal, we let up off the gas and go, whew, yeah, I did something big. Look at me.
Right. Now
And
I'm
that's
gonna
when
stop
people,
you. I'm gonna stop you as the coach. And because I really believe this. I believe there's a difference between keeping that goal in mind and keeping that goal in front of us in the real world. Because a
yeah,
lot of people will keep it in their mind, but there's so much, it's like a big meteor shower in there with thoughts and fears and
yeah,
dreams and all kinds of things shooting around in there. So I like to take those things out of the chaos that can be inside of our minds and put it somewhere. Write it on a post-it note, put it on a
absolutely.
card, put it on the refrigerator, whatever you need to do. Because I'm a firm believer that when you have something like this, you're riding that wave, you're on the surfboard of accomplishment. It's nice to go and put money down on your next surfboard. so that you're ready, you're preparing. Because I know I'm going to ride the next big wave on a different board. I already know that. So I'm going to go and so really do something with what you have, because I believe that's the greatest joy within a blessing, is to, when you always try to have something in front of you. If you're going to be speaking on a stage July 13th, soon as July 13th comes, you should already put something in place for August 19th or whatever, so that you have something to look forward to. I believe what stops a lot of people, tell me how you feel about this, is when we put all of our aspirations inside of the calendar of someday or one day. Because those days never get closer. But if you put something on in June or July or September of 2020, September, I'm going to do this or have done this, that day keeps moving closer. And so, you can't get away from that reality. And that's the difference between one day, someday, and an actual date on the calendar, reality. How do you feel about that?
Absolutely. Yeah, you have to have those stopping points along the way. Those, like I said, those many goals, to have those many victories, to have those many celebrations.
That's right. That's right. Can I ask you, are you a person who do you believe in New Year's resolutions? Do you ever write those for yourself or create those for yourself?
No, because a year can start today. A year is 365 days. It's not confined to a calendar. So I can make a New Year's resolution right now to come back to 2021, to July 1st, 2021. So no, I don't look at when the calendar year, turns, the calendar, the page changes, that we have to sit and go, oh my God, let me set a new goal. Because where most people fail, as you just mentioned, is not having those steps along the way. So they're looking at the following year, calendar year. But what happens when you get to that 30-day, that 60-day, that 90-day mark? If you don't have a goal to hit by that day and your only target is that far off date, like you said, you're going to lose steam.
Right. Now, here's something interesting that I know somebody out there picked up on. They were like, wait a minute. Didn't he say he went and he got certified through the Augmentino coaching program? So he did that, but then he started coaching with Loren. Talk about that. Why sometimes we get one piece of the puzzle, but we still need help. That's why all coaches have coaches. Because some people think that, I go and I get John Maxwell coaching certification, and now I'm ready to change the world in all ways, which may not be the case, which is why they end up, in most cases, not doing it at all. Why? Because we still have things within our own world that need to be, a emery board needs to go to get hangnails off, or some polish, some Carnex, bring out the shine of what we're trying to do. So talk about what made you make that decision, because in my opinion, Devon, that's one of the hardest decisions for people to make. A lot of people would have just said, I went and I paid all this money for this certification, and it's not doing a dang thing. What, that stupid program, they tricked me, da, 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 da. And then they start perpetuating that negativity to other people. When somebody says, I'm thinking about taking a certification program for coaching, don't do it. I did it and it didn't get me shit, or whatever. But then you decided, well, wait a minute. Is it the program that's not working, or is it me that's not working the program? And what do I need to do to make this put this in alignment with my purpose? And then you decided to call me. And so talk about that, because that's a big deal, and it's something that not many people know how to find their way to on their own. Talk about that, please.
Yeah, well, with that, a lot of it is people feel like it's a weakness to ask for help. Especially, like I said, when you hit a goal. And that was one of the things that I've struggled with. You and I talked extensively about this. It's getting that feeling like, feeling like we have to be perfect, have all of the answers. And if we go to ask somebody, then that's just proof that that noise in our head that we're not good enough is true. But no, that's not. We all need help. We all need someone else that's on the outside to help us see things better. Amen. And that's like we hear all the time about translating it to sports from a coach's perspective. When you're out on the playing field, you can only see so much. But a coach that's standing on the sideline, they can see the field and they can see one a lot of things that you don't do, that you won't see. And so that's the point of, asking for a coach. And, I realized, I was like, man, I know I'm a smart guy. I'm well spoken. I've got a lot of information, a lot of knowledge because I've been reading these books for all of these years. But something is blocking me. Something's in my way that I can't see. And so if I'm going to move forward and if I'm going to help thousands and thousands of people, I need somebody to help me remove that block, get that block out of my way so I can move
splinter out of my own eye.
Absolutely.
Before I go trying to get the logs out of other people's eyes, like the Bible says. And I'm going to tell you another part of that equation is I remember way back when we were originally talking about working together. And then when that did not happen, I had to do the same thing you have to do or had to do. And that is I had to say, well, the timing for us is not now. Doesn't mean it's not later. It's just not now. And you still want to pray for, hope for, the best for other people. Because my motto is this: when I talk to people, it just isn't. We're not meant for each other. They're not chosen for me at this time, and I'm not chosen for them. Doesn't mean I don't want them to be as successful as possible. So I have to say, I don't care where you get it. I'm just praying that you go somewhere and you find it and you get it. Because the more of us that find it and get it, the more people we can help in this world. And that's right. But I'll be honest, I was so excited that day when the text came through. And you said, Loren, I'm ready. And I learned something from that moment. I really did. Because you never say who will and you never say who won't. That's when we're judging. And so it was just grateful. Sometimes we have to just stay and continue doing what we're doing. Let the bird go from the nest, and hopefully it'll find its way back or find its way to whatever it needs. Right. So what do you see for yourself in the near future, the next year or so? What would you like to see Damon K. Ross doing?
Well, one is obviously helping more people on an individual basis. So I'm inviting people to take the Habit Finder assessment.
Okay.
You can go to my website to find that, damonkross.com. Scroll down, go to take the test.
Oh, you have damonkross.com?
Yes.
Oh.
So you can go there, scroll down to take the test. It'll take you right to the Habit Finder. You can take that assessment. I'll reach out to you. We can set up a time to talk about it. So helping people with that. I've also been working on a workshop so I can get into schools and talk to school staff just about how to show up better and work with the students. So addressing some of their own issues, but then also how to better view and work with the students we have, because it's a tough job that we do. And not just working in the therapeutic school, just work with youth in general is a very tough job. So you can easily reach a point of burnout. So talking about how to avoid that and how to make sure we're doing the things that we need to do on a daily basis so that we're showing up as our best self and helping these students become the best they can be. So those are two of the things. And of course, if and when things open up, more speaking engagements, because I had a couple of the places that I spoke at the beginning of the year last year that unfortunately I won't be able to do this year. So.
Right. Well, I'm excited about the special that we're putting together with you, in conjunction with E360 TV Live. And I have a feeling that we're going to head in the direction of what you do, working with kids that need that special love, a special form of love, in order to make it to where it is they need to go. And I'm looking forward to that because I think you can teach a lot of people how to do better about that and how to understand what's going on from the child's perspective.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm really excited about that. Well, I wish you well. Now go wake up my favorite person in the universe, John, because I want to say hi to him. And I want to thank you and let you know that you're welcome back anytime. If there's anything we can do for you from this side of the table, let us know. And for those of you out there, I had put it up on the screen. There it is again, damonkross.com if you want to continue this dialogue, and I highly recommend you do. Or if you would like to talk to Damon about how he can come and speak to your organization, there it is right there. Damon, I want to thank you again. Get out there, have a great day, be blessed, and keep doing what you're doing. You're changing the world one person at a time.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. Have a great day. Stay put. Well, everybody, that's it for today. We're out of time. I'm Loren Michael Sayers. Tomorrow, mark your calendars, she's back. Miss Misty Lane, and you know she's going to have a lot to say. She's got a new show. She's got a whole bunch of new things going on, and she's going to talk about how being on the front lines, working in nuclear medicine, how a surgeon just last week exposed her in her entire office to COVID-19, and now they're all sitting at home quarantined. So we're going to talk about that, what it feels like, and find out about her new show and all the great stuff she has going. That's tomorrow, Thursday, right here, July 2nd, on Bathrobe Moments, Misty Lane. So you don't want to miss that. In the meantime, I challenge each and every one of you, get out there and make a difference in the world. How? It's easy. No matter what you run into, what person, what situation, if you try to leave that situation just a tad bit better than the way it was when you ran into it, you will have changed the world. Just that easy. Okay? Thank you. Meet me here tomorrow morning, God willing, at 8 a.m. Central for Bathrobe Moments. We'll do it all again. I promise you that. Have a great day. And remember, find a mirror right now. Why? Because if you look in it, you're going to see the greatest blessing of all, yourself. And you need to see the blessing. Bye now.